How much better off would you be if you had twice the amount of energy now than you did when you were a little kid? And more importantly, to be able to use that to explode your online business. If you want that, this is the video for you, and we're jumping right on in. Hi, my name is Dan Brock, the Deadbeat, a super affiliate from deadbeat.com. If you want to earn online income while you snooze, hit that subscribe button right now. Okay, so do you remember when you were a little kid? You probably got like 4 hours of sleep, and despite that, you still woke up happy, excited, and more importantly, filled with energy. But now you might be experiencing things like brain fog, depression, more importantly, low energy. Well, what I'm going to share with you here today made a world of difference for me. This is what cured, dare I say, my napping problem. So we're going to jump on in right now. Okay, so the reason why we're tired all the time, we're not functioning at the tip-top levels that we should be, is because essentially there are too many people on Earth for our food supply to properly support. So what's happening is, in order to keep up with the demand, farmers are growing vegetables in the same plot of land faster than that soil can keep up with. So they're not giving the soil enough time to regenerate, which means that the crops, the vegetables that we're eating are nutrient deficient because they're growing in nutrient depleted soil. Not only are the vegetables not giving us what we need to be full and to thrive, but also the cattle, the livestock, chicken, all of those animals aren't getting the same nutrients either. So animals, livestock are typically fed with grain nowadays, and on top of that, they are also crammed into very confined spaces. They're sitting in their own urine and feces. And because of this, not only do you have cattle that are also nutrient deficient, and therefore their meat that we consume is also deficient, but it's also loaded up with added toxins from the way they live. In other words, our modern diet is turning us into weak people. You'll notice there's studies like saying testosterone has dropped a lot over the last 50 to 60 years. This is part of the reason, in addition to like TV, porn, and all those other things. So what is happening in order to keep up with the supply? Farmers, food manufacturers are injecting their food with sugars, cheap cooking oils to add nutrients, in quotes, to the food. Okay, so basically everything that we eat at supermarkets, restaurants, all of that is this like half degraded version of food and the nutrients inside. So that's the modern diet for you, and I'll give you some examples of this in just a second. So you got people that are tired, their bodies aren't up to par, they look old, they're waking up not refreshed, and if you switch to the traditional diet, you will become stronger, faster, smarter, and more importantly, you will have way more energy. Now, if you really want to dive deep in this topic, I'm going to go over a lot of the key points in these books, but I recommend these two books. Once you read these, you will never look at things the same. It's kind of like when you remove the veil from your eyes and you finally see things for the way they are and you can never go back. These two books will do that for you. So Deep Nutrition is a great start. This will tell you basically the problems with modern food and the foods that you should substitute them with. And Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. This book is wild. This is insane. So basically what this dentist did was about 70 years ago. He went to various countries and he found people that were kind of disconnected from the modern world and their local counterparts who were actually integrated with the modern world. And what he found was that the tribal people were way more healthy. They looked better, they had all their teeth, they had much more energy, they looked 30 years younger, and they lived longer. Now, those same people that went from the tribe into the modern world, those people within just one generation, even the same generation, had missing teeth. They had a lot of cavities. They lost most of their teeth. They didn't look as attractive. Their faces narrowed. And they also had a lot of physical problems. And I really recommend you read that book. You will not look at things the same. So what do you do to solve this? How do you get more energy so you can compete at the highest level, make more money, and win in life in general, and feel much better? Well, solution number one is to remove all vegetable oil from your diet. Okay, there's a lot of science behind this. I'm going to summarize it for you. When vegetable oil comes in contact with your cells, it essentially destroys that cell. And what will happen is your body will then devote a lot of its energy, a lot of its resources to cleaning up those cells and removing oxygen from them with antioxidants. So in other words, your body has to use a lot of energy to repair the damage that vegetable oil is doing to your body. Every cell in your body is affected with this. So this creates inflammation, and inflammation causes a lot of problems for your body. Okay, it makes you slower, it makes you dumber. Your brain gets clogged up, it can't get the things that it needs to the blood flow, the oxygen, the nutrients that it really needs to compete at the highest level. So good oils to cook with is what you cook with. Olive oil, grass-fed butter, avocado oil, these are great substitutes. Now, on the flip side of things, the bad oils, canola oil. Every restaurant that you go to uses canola oil. There are very few exceptions to this. Reason why is canola oil is so easy to produce, so cheap, that if they were to substitute canola oil with, say, olive oil, it's an additional 50 to 75 cents per plate for that restaurant. That's a lot of the profit. So every time you eat out, you are hurting yourself a lot. Now, when you read this book, you will see just how much you are doing your body a disservice. You're essentially killing yourself with every bite that you take. Okay, another thing you want to avoid, any seed-based oils, and more importantly, margarine. This is like each spoonful is 1 spoon closer to death for you. So do not eat margarine under any circumstances. By doing this alone, I've noticed a massive increase in my energy levels. I feel so much better. My mind is sharper. This is a massive improvement. I recommend the very minimum you do this. Now, second solution, this is harder to do, especially if you like candy and all that. I personally don't. So I thought I had an advantage, but there are some other things you don't think about. So remove sugar. What sugar does is pretty much the same thing as olive oil and as vegetable oil, a different way. Same problem though, inflammation. It stops things from getting the nutrients they need. It confuses the body. So you want to lower or at least limit the amount of sugar that you take. So this is where I was like, okay, no problem. I don't eat dessert that much. I don't eat candy. But fruit also has a lot of sugar in it. A lot of starches like potatoes, when those are broken down, starch is also converted to sugar. It doesn't mean you shouldn't eat fruit, but you want to keep your fruit intake to about the same portion of about 2 apples per day. Okay, so work that in. You can do this slowly but surely, but you will also find that you are much cleaner. You feel much better once the sugar is removed from your diet. Okay, solution number 3 is to consume pasture-raised meat that's fed on a vegetarian diet. So essentially, cows that are able to graze a field and eat grass, okay? A lot of cows nowadays are fed with grain, which is depleted of all nutrients. So pasture-raised, grass-fed beef is so much different than the crap you see at grocery stores. If you ever bought one versus the other and you compare it side by side, just look at it. It's a massive difference. So yes, it's more expensive, but it is worth it. We'll talk about that in a second. Some things you're going to want to look out for though, there's a difference between grass-fed and grass-finished beef. All right, so you want to look for words like vegetarian diet, 100% vegetarian diet. That means they're fed on grass. Okay, another thing, and this takes a lot of skill, is that you want to cook your meat and your vegetables at a lower temperature. If you overcook your meat, even beyond medium, the nutrients kind of bind together and it gets all clogged up, and your body isn't able to pull them apart and use them to the best of its ability. So when you overcook it, you essentially destroy all the nutrients within the meat. The meat becomes hard to eat. So try to aim for about medium rare. That's where I'm at. Some people do rare. Medium rare on steak is about 150 degrees, a little bit lower than that. Okay, you also want to slow cook the beef. If you flash cook it, like sear it too hot, this can cause problems and burn up that layer on the front of the beef there. So it is a skill. It's taken me some time to really adjust the temperatures. It's not as easy as just, flipping the switch. You forget, you have to really learn like what it looks like. It's worth it though. So this is a huge tip, because if you don't do this right, you're essentially destroying all the nutrients within the food itself, even if you've bought the good stuff. Okay, in addition to that, these are some foods I recommend that you add into your diet. I've created my diet all around these foods here. So walnuts, massive building material for your brain. Okay, so walnuts are loaded up with omega-3 fatty acids. These are what your brain's made of. This is what gives you energy. Great brain building material. I mean, like, have you ever really studied like 2 or 3 days straight and like your head just is like, you can't focus, you feel like completely depleted. They theorize it's because you run out of omega-3. So constantly refill your source of omega-3. Walnuts are great organic ways to do it. I get organic walnuts. Spinach, organic spinach, another great way to get omega-3s, and it's also a great antioxidant, okay? So this reduces inflammation, keeps you younger, cleaner, opens up everything so things can work the way they should. Get whole organic yogurt. This will keep you in much better shape. Okay, so for my breakfast, I usually have a bowl full of organic yogurt, a little bit of honey, just a little bit, and then I put in a small half handful of blueberries, and then I load it up with pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, both of those fully organic. Okay, so that's a great breakfast, real great way to give your body the nutrients it needs in the morning. And number 3, chicken stock and bone broth, loaded up with good nutrients. I get organic, free range chicken stock. It's a little bit more expensive, but again, worth it. I use this for lunch. So I'll take that, add it up with some vegetables, pop in 2 pasture-raised eggs from pasture-raised chicken. And that leads me into the second point, eggs. Eggs are a great source of everything that you need, okay? So get eggs that are produced by pasture-raised chickens fed with a 100% vegetarian-based diet. Okay, so they are more expensive. It's going to cost you about twice the amount, but it's worth it. Eggs are a great source of a lot of nutrients that are missing in the modern diet. Okay, number 6, a very small portion of dark chocolate with about 85% cocoa. Anything above that, it starts becoming processed and it really messes everything up. So about 85% cocoa. I eat Lindt. It's called like Lindits. Lindt. It's called Lindt. It's a weird name. That's the chocolate that I eat. So work this in. Again, only a small amount because you don't want to go overboard with sugars. But if you add these into your diet and remove some of the bad stuff, you are going to notice a huge improvement over the course of about 30 days. Okay, so start building the discipline now to shift your diet to these types of foods. I promise you, you will not regret it, okay? You will see that your energy explodes. I don't take naps anymore. When I wake up, I feel completely refreshed. When I work out, I'm just ripping it up. I have all the nutrients I need. I'm way smarter. I'm thinking cleaner. It is worth every single penny and then some. So why doesn't everyone else do this? Well, 2 reasons. It costs extra money and time. So normally for 2 of us, it's about $150 doing the modern diet at the grocery store. But if we work in and try to go more traditional, it's about $250. So you're gonna spend about $100 a week extra for 2, but it's worth it. Now, the other thing though is that you have to go to multiple stores to get it all put together, but it's worth it. It takes a little extra time, yes, but let's just say you get about a 20% boost in energy. And I really think that's the very low end. I think it's more like 50 to even 100% more energy. Is it worth it to spend for you an extra $100 to get a boost in all performance throughout every area of your life by 20%? I think the answer is probably yes. So it's worth doing that, at least from my opinion. It's worth way more. Okay, so guys, just wanted to share that with you. It's helped my life a lot. I think you will do much better too. It's going to take you time. It took me a couple months to really start getting into this and doing it properly, but I can't go back. Now that I see the difference, like I'm no longer going out to eat at restaurants, which by the way is a massive savings in money. I save way more money doing that. I save time because I can make it a lot quicker. It takes 2 hours or so to go eat out. I can do this in about an hour and a half, so save about time there too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit subscribe, like, give me some of them YouTube lovin's, and check out my most recent video right here. And it's not time for me to go take a nap because I got a whole lot of energy now. I'll see you deadbeats later.